Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris, and this is the Momentum Log, day 32. Let's go. So, class, if you've been following along, or even if you haven't, the Momentum Log is about me documenting my process of staying in momentum towards building something new. And this is day 32 of that. I mean, obviously, I haven't made 32 videos here, so you guys are following along, and I'm updating you as I go, as if this was a captain's log of a ship sailing towards an epic destination. So I'm really glad you're here. So one of the things I have been really like coaching people on and telling people that they need to do is to create content and share your voice and do it unassisted completely if you can. I know that's really hard at the beginning, but I think back to when I started my first podcast. It was called The Work Podcast. And it was about, sharing processes and things that were happening and things that were helpful to me as someone who makes stuff for a living. And I started that as a blog first. I was writing and getting my thoughts out on paper. And so every morning I would have this sacred time where I would sit down and I would write something. And sometimes it would suck. And sometimes it would be good. And sometimes people would like it. And sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes it would get views and comments and sometimes it wouldn't. And that was just a part of the reality. And I was doing this on the side. Like at the time, we had a wedding photography business that my wife still has the business. And I started a marketing agency, about 13 years after that. But during that 13-year period, we were wedding photographers together full time. And so that was happening. And then on the side, I wanted to do something that was for me, that was going to fuel my creativity for my work in the photography business. And which is kind of an outrageous thing to say, because I think there's a lot of people in business, especially photographers and copywriters, and copywriting is a whole different beast I can't get into right now, but any craft. If you're in business and you also have a craft that you do, a service you provide, I think people are more focused on the business thing and getting clients and selling people than they are on the process and on their creative base, their base level of creativity at all times. And so I became worried about that because I was starting to see that my work was lagging, and I had this insane clear thought that, like, if my work starts to suck, people eventually are going to stop booking me, because this is the thing that I do. People don't think about that for anything. If my work starts to suck and I start to not be good at my craft, then eventually no one's going to want to work with me. Eventually down the line, even if I'm really good at sales, even if I'm really good at marketing, even if all that is working, eventually it's going to come home to roost. Creativity is the thing that makes everything go around. If you lose that, and you can't lose it completely, but if you stop being able to access it to your full capacity and making stuff that only you can make, then that becomes a problem. So that's why I initially started my podcast and the blog that I was writing. So when I started creating that, it was all like you can go back and listen to those episodes. They exist somewhere. You can just go find them. It's kind of wild. My voice is different. The things that I'm saying are it's not really that different from what I talk about now, but it wasn't like super polished or anything. I would write out a script, like literally write it out with a pencil and a paper, because there wasn't any ChatGPT or anything like that to help me cheat. It was just my thoughts coming out, whether or not they were good or not. Just like this video is today. I still stand by that as a thing that you should do. So if you're a creator and you are in this space right now, and you're looking at everything and everybody's telling you to use AI to do everything, don't. Because here's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to start to sound the same. I have this theory. I was telling my wife about this the other day. Everybody's worried about like robots rising up, right? Not everybody's worried about that, but that's the thought process with AI and kind of where this goes, and because of movies and all that, like robots are going to rise up and take over. No. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is AI is going to become so ingrained in everybody's lives that the humans become robots, and that's how it wipes us out. Humans become robots and we sound like everybody else, just a bunch of drones. We can't have that. And so, I want to encourage you to get a microphone and sit in front of a camera and talk and share your stuff with the world. Share your thoughts with the world. Share your process with the world. And eventually, you're going to have it so polished, you're going to get so used to this rhythm that you'll have stuff that you talk about. You'll have stuff that is yours. I was talking to a friend about this the other day, that when I'm not creating consistently, I will lose track of what is mine that I talk about, my process, because that's how my brain like works with it. I don't know, you may not be the same way, but my brain works with it by like getting it out and like processing it in this way. And I think it can be beneficial to everyone. And so I see a lot of people right now who they should be being craftsmen and craftswomen. They should be focusing on that and making their craft their focus. But instead what they're doing is making a bunch of chats with ChatGPT and storing all their stuff in there and not really sharing the process of getting to the perfection. And I've been saying this for a long time, but if you're committed to being perfect, you should prepare to become obsolete, because everybody's going to look the same. I don't want this whole conversation, these momentum logs, to be perfect, because I'm literally have a rough idea of what I want to share today, but I'm just going to talk. And that's cool. Like if you don't jive with that, that's totally fine. But like, this has always been the style of stuff that I like to make. And where it coincides, and this is another piece of it too, is like there has to be at some point there's a convergence of where what you like to do and what you want to make and what other people want to buy. It's all right there. That the key is to become visible to those people. And no one can have that. No one can know that you're out there. No one can find the thing that you like to do, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's really cool. I like that too." No one can find that unless you're visible. And so I think that's just another reason why you should be creating videos, why you should be posting on social media. If that's what you like, you find something that you like I like YouTube. I like being on camera and doing this. So this is my jam. But maybe yours is like creating cool Instagram reels and documenting your process, whatever. Like just make something and put it out there today. Cool. So I wanted to start by saying that. And I think that the creatives that are going to thrive, and especially ones that are having business behind it, that are selling their art, they're selling the thing that they do, their service, whatever. The people that are going to thrive are the people who are willing to be visible. And so do that. Today, I wanted to talk about something else in the momentum log today to document. So something interesting happened. You know, as you guys know, I've been developing the offer and the program of Resilient Creative. And I have a 90-day offer around that. And I'm still offering that, but what I want to do, and I wanted to test the waters and just put it out there, you know, like to put the offer out there, and knowing that the price point wasn't really a fit for just putting it out there, I need to probably have a presentation behind it. And I'm going to talk about that another time, because I'm going to build that presentation. But what the presentation does is allows me to do this in a short period of time, with the goal of showing them so much value in the presentation that they naturally want to take the next step. And so that's what I'm going to put in front of that offer to get people signed up into that world. But what's interesting is I developed this workshop a while back called Infinitely Creative. And originally I was going to make it an hour-long, webinar. But as I was writing out the script, I realized that this is way more than an hour. I'm going to need 3-4 hours for this. And so what I did is I canceled the webinar. People were already signed up. I canceled it and I said, hey, this is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'm actually going to make it a program. I'm still going to record it, but I'm not going to record it live, but I'm going to record it and I'm going to give you the recordings. And then I started selling it. And so that was something that I was doing a while. And I recently went and visited that because I'm thinking about what's going to be inside Resilient Creative and what are the processes that I want to hand over to people to help them on their journey. And when I was reviewing this content, I realized how powerful and I have the like triangle model here that I drew, how powerful the model is. And it's interesting because as I was talking about before with starting my blog for the explicit purpose of becoming a better photographer, which doesn't seem to make sense, but it will in the context here. That became something that I used weekly as we went to photograph weddings. I would do a certain protocol throughout the week that would make me more creative. And I didn't know if it would work at the beginning. I totally shooting in the dark. But what I noticed is like, as I practiced this protocol, I was able to show up in a different way than I ever had shown up before. And I was creating things and seeing things that I just could not see before. My brain was making connections and I had nothing to do with it. It was just that the processes of the brain were firing on all cylinders. Whereas previously I would just kind of like go through it or whatever. And I would like, be on social media all the time. I'd be consuming whatever, eating whatever, not being intentional about anything at all. And then I just show up on the wedding day and not be able to create like I know I could. And I wouldn't be happy with the results. And again, and eventually that would come home to roost, right? So I had to do something about that. And that's where this was born. But the goal is that, and I'll put this up on the screen, is that there's basically 3 tiers of it. There's 3 pillars. And one of the first pillars that you have to be able to control your environment, the things that are coming in. You have to be willing to make and share your work, which is what we've been talking about here today, consistently. And you have to know how to clear out old patterns so that you don't get stuck in them. Those are the 3 pillars to become infinitely creative. The reason I'm telling you this today and showing you the framework here is because this offer, Infinitely Creative, is a standalone course. It's something that doesn't really involve me. I'm going to beef it up a little bit. I'm going to add some more stuff in there. But the reason I'm telling you this is because it's becoming part of the ecosystem. And I for the first time, I'm sure you're like this too, where you have this this vision for everything. You can kind of see like way out. You can see what it will look like, but then you have to come back in. And I think that is a major problem with creatives and artists. We can see really far into the future and we can go there and we can spend time there. And then we come back and we're like, that's really far away. That's really far away. And I don't know how to get there yet, but I'm going to have to figure it out. And then you come back into the slog. This is like the beefiest, roughest part of the journey right here. And I got to get through this in order to get there. And so when I'm talking about this and thinking about this, things keep coming up for me that are making the path more clear, making the ecosystem of what this business is more clear. It's easy to get frustrated that you're not where you know that the vision is yet at the end. But if you do processes like that's exactly why I developed the Infinitely Creative protocol, was to get clear so that I can just be like, okay, I'm going to take the next action that comes up, the next aligned action on this path. And then things start to become revealed to you. And that's what happened here with Infinitely Creative. So I also launched a newsletter, a daily newsletter. I will invite you to that. That is resilientcreative.com/daily. You can go there and sign up for that. I send out a daily email for creatives who want to be here a long time and care about making good work. The reason I made that is because I wake up every day and I type on my computer with my fingers without using ChatGPT, and I send out an email. That's for me. I don't see a lot of that happening right now, but I'm committed to that craft. In fact, I decided and I announced to everybody this week that I'm not going to let AI touch any part of my business. I'm committed to that. And I think more and more people need to step up and say that if that's going to be true for them, because if not, then I'm seeing this a lot in the coaching space right now. I don't know what's you and what's not you. And you say, well, Chris, it's all me. I'm putting it in there. No. It's not you, right? I want to learn from you. I want to know your processes, not something that ChatGPT came up with. I want to know what you have to say and what you thought up with your brain. The only way to do that is to disconnect, unplug from all the inputs, and then you decide what you plug in. You decide what's coming in, and you stop everything else. That's part of the infinitely creative protocol. You stop all the inputs and you control the environment. And then you make stuff that can only come from you. And it's going to suck at the beginning because you're going to have to reset that system. But when you do that, you can create good work for a long time and not have to rely on any tool at all. I think the big takeaway here for you, and you can choose any takeaway you want, but for me, the takeaway from this video and what I wanted to take away from this stretch of the last 15, 16 days is let the ecosystem of your thing reveal itself to you as you go. Don't sit there and try to brainstorm everything on ChatGPT and try to get it all built out. Meanwhile, somebody is 32 days ahead of you actually creating stuff instead of just performing this like masturbatory experience with ChatGPT, just like not actually doing anything. Make sure that you're actually putting stuff out. And so you can use the infinitely creative protocol to do that. Control your environment. Make sure you're controlling your inputs and make sure you're not, things aren't just coming at you without your consent. That's thing number one. Thing number two, make good work and put it out consistently. And it may not be good at the beginning, but it doesn't matter. You got to make stuff and share stuff. That's number two. And then thing number three, make sure that you understand what it looks like to clear out the old patterns. You can use any of the tapping videos, the morning activation videos on this channel to start there. There's actually a playlist I have on here that's like the core tenets of Resilient Creative. That would be a good place to start because it shows you what it looks like to tap into your power, presence, and purpose. And that would be a really good start to understand what it looks like to clear out the old patterns. If you do those things versus planning to do those things, you will get better. You will progress. And that's what I'm finding. And things will reveal themselves to you. I had all these pieces at the beginning, but I didn't see them. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, it's resilientcreative.com/daily. I send out a daily email. I think you'd like it. And I'd love to have you on there. It's totally free. So until next time, y'all, make something and put it out in the world and let it come from you. Sit down with a blank piece of paper. Sit down with a camera and a microphone and nothing else. Nothing. There's nothing on this table except for the iPad that is now blank. It just had my the drawing on there that I showed you. Nothing else. And just say some stuff. Right? It doesn't all have to be perfect. Just say some stuff and make it happen. It's worth the effort to spend time with your craft and making yourself better in that arena so that you can be here for a long term without burning out, without just like burning the ships and like completely crashing out. That doesn't have to be your story. It's worth the time and the effort to work at becoming better at your craft so that you can have the life you want and make good stuff for a long time and leave behind a contribution. Cool? All right. I love you guys. See you next time.